Hey, what's up guys? Rob.balasabas here. Welcome to my channel or the Remote Cafe podcast if you're tuning into this through your headphones in a podcast while you're walking or jogging or cooking or working or whatever it is that you're doing. Thanks for tuning in. Today just wanted to share this LinkedIn article that a buddy of mine by the name of PJ shared. I'm going to share my screen, guys, here. Hope you guys, by the way, enjoy a little test that I'm doing here with putting on background music. So if you guys are wondering, I'm using Epidemic Sound for this and just playing an album. This is a bit of an insight into how I work. I usually have some music, usually no vocals, so just a lot of jazz kind of music, a lot of beats, keeps me focused. So just testing this out and hopefully it comes through well. That way I don't have to add the music or the audio later on. And so there is just less editing. So that's the reason here. Also, this video is brought to you guys by Ecamm. Ecamm Live is the tool that I'm using to record this video right now. All the layers, all the overlays, all the scenes and stuff, it's all through Ecamm. So let's get back to what I really wanted to share with you guys today, which is an article here on LinkedIn that I came across, posted by PJ. So if you guys don't know who PJ is, this is PJ right here, handsome looking guy here. He's the founder of a company called UScreen, and UScreen is a great platform if you're a content creator looking to monetize your channel, and you can create an app where you can have a membership model and sell your content. So it's a great platform for doing that. You can monetize your content, you can build a community and all that stuff. So he posted this article, which is an open letter to the bosses who want you back in the office. And so I thought I'd just share it with you guys, kind of give you a bit of a commentary and a bit of my reaction to this article. I work remotely, as you guys all know. And so knowing PJ and how he's built UScreen, a lot of this really resonates with me. And so I'm just going to kind of go through this article. If you guys are listening to this on the podcast, I will have a link in the show notes to the article if you want to read along with me or check it out on your phone or on the screen in another window. This is the letter right here. So it kind of goes on to say, this is from one boss to another. Remote was never my first choice. Never my first choice. So first, that's really interesting, because whose choice is it? As a boss, you kind of want to have people in your office so you can monitor and see that they are productive, right? But he says that a workforce that's both productive and remote, I wasn't so sure, as he says. But when I started my company, UScreen, didn't have much of a choice. Being bootstrapped, right? Bootstrap means self-funded. For those of you that are just, sort of new to the terminology, bootstrap means self-funded, no outside investors. Had some real challenges of its own. He didn't necessarily have the funds for an open office space if he wanted to add new hires or scale the business. So there's really some decisions there. So you either, want to have a nice shiny office, or you take the capital that you have and you bring in more resources in the way of, employees, contractors, to really grow the business first, right? So shows a lot of insight into PJ's motivation and his goals here in the beginning. Now, he says here, as a business owner and entrepreneur, he's learned to be flexible and innovative, right? He needed to be open to ideas that he was skeptical of in the beginning. And that was what really got him to start giving remote work a chance, right? So that's very interesting. So remote work a chance initially, okay? So, again, not his first choice. I don't think it's a lot of leaders' first choice to have a remote team. Now, after COVID, during COVID, it's kind of almost expected, right? I was talking to another friend, Anton Schulke, who used to work at SEM Rush and now works at Duda. And he's been working remotely since 2015. You guys will see his interview By the time this is live and updated, posted on the podcast and also on my YouTube channel, you can catch my conversation with Anton about his experience working remotely since 2015 and one of the first remote workers full-time at SEMrush. So let's get back to the article though. So he goes to say, it wasn't perfect. The first few years, we nearly ran out of money. So, a bit of a struggle there in the beginning, in the first few years. So I gave up my salary, right? Gave up his salary and doubled down on my people and my product. So that was the real, priority there, right? Double down on the people, make sure your people are good, your team are good, and continue to build and improve your product. Over the following 5 years, I listened to feedback, kept an open mind, and adjusted. Adjusted, I think, is a big word there. You gotta adjust, especially in the tech space. Opening a business is crazy enough, but definitely in the tech space, you need to continually adjust and recalibrate things that you're doing. Now, by the time COVID-19 sent much of the office-based workforce to work from their homes, his team wasn't just ready, they were perfectly positioned to meet the needs of clients looking to make a digital transformation. So very key there. So they were already doing this remote work lifestyle and process as a team. And so COVID-19 happened, and so they were ready. So now he says that his team has grown by 300% and is located around the world. And so they're all over the place. They've helped their clients earn a collective $100 million in revenue in the past year. And guess what? They did it all working from home. That's incredible. That's just incredible. It goes to show how much you can do from home. Again, we're talking about productivity, meeting metrics, deadlines, being able to communicate, come together on campaigns and get all those things done. And they did that. They grew by 300% as a team. They have helped their clients earn over $100 million in revenue in the past year. And they did that during COVID, and they did that all working from home. So incredible. If you guys are watching the podcast, head over to YouTube to the video version of this piece right here, and you'll see a screenshot of PJ's team at UScreen, and a picture of them all over Zoom here. It's very cute, actually. On a personal note, PJ continues to say here, I've had new hires tell me how eliminating the commute has changed their lives. I can agree. I am not a fan of morning traffic, and working remotely, I don't have to deal with that. It has improved their days in small but meaningful ways. For instance, time to eat a healthy breakfast, a morning dog walk around the neighborhood, and that extra hour of sleep. So good. Goldman Sachs boss David Solomon decided remote work was an aberration that went directly against their innovative, collaborative, and apprenticeship culture. And PJ goes on to say, my question to Mr. Solomon would be why he thinks innovation, collaboration, and apprenticeship, which is kind of like discipleship or like, helping somebody, sort of the mentor-mentee, idea there. Why can't that be accomplished virtually? So PJ's hot take here says, while working in person may be important for certain career paths, dismissing remote work altogether is a mistake. In this case, the hybrid model, which is a model that's happening for a lot of companies, may just be your best friend. Now, he says here, I'm certainly an advocate for remote work, but that's not to say I've written off working in person entirely. I don't deny that working with colleagues face-to-face is useful, but to rely solely on in-person work for the success of a company is not sustainable. Okay, the beauty of hybrid approach is that it suits different work styles. Okay, different work styles. Totally agree. Where I'm at right now, TubeBuddy, we do have a hybrid model. There's some team members that are 100% remote. There's some team members that work remotely, but also are able to go to an office because there's an office nearby. For me, there is no office nearby. There is no office here in Vancouver for TubeBuddy. Okay, so the closest thing that I could do is go to a co-working space. Now, I'm gonna be able to work around people, but I wouldn't be able to work with my team members in person, right? So it's not quite the hybrid model that PJ's talking here. He's talking about an actual office space where people can go and work with their team members within the company. Okay, that's a hybrid hybrid model. Okay, so he goes on to say here, if you want to integrate remote work into your business, you're going to need a system, very important systems that helps things run smoothly from the get-go. After years of experience, here's 5 tips for remote work, a happy remote work environment that supports your team and the growth of your business. So the first thing is recruit remotely, thoughtfully. Good advice. Yeah, when you're building a team, you're not going to see in person. One of the most important things to do is to take your time finding the right ones. Don't rush the interview process, right? Organize a few stages to ensure deep dive into the key things that indicate they're a match. Also, that if your company is a good match for them as well. Do video interviews, very smart. There's no better way to connect with a person remotely than by talking with them face to face. Also, by doing a video interviews, you get an idea of what it'll be like to work with them remotely, right? Even if they're gonna be working with you in the same city, like they're located in the same city, you're gonna see them in person, in the office occasionally, you should still put some type of video interview in the process so that you can see how they interact in video, right? Make sure that you can understand if they can work independently. I agree. Independently, that's such a big word here, because being a remote worker, I have to work independently a lot. I need to dictate and set my own goals along with my team, of course, but I need to actually do that. I need to motivate myself to do my work every single day. So can you work independently, right? You're going to be alone a lot, right? That's really it. So you need somebody that can work independently. That they have a suitable work environment, right? You guys see me here. I have a home office, right? And I have space. And so very important that they also have that here. So here's my little office space, right? You can see my den turned into home office turned studio. So something that, everyone that is working remotely should have some dedicated space in their house, in their home, where they can work and be productive, right? Understand the benefits, but also drawbacks of remote work. So, this is also like you as a leader or somebody that's going to be building the team, you need to make sure that you are setting the expectations, right? Understanding the benefits, but also the drawbacks. That's an expectations thing. And so you need to set the expectations, especially if it's somebody that's not, that hasn't worked remotely ever or very little, right? And if your company is expected to work remotely, then that's something you need to set, because some people, they're not able to do that quite yet. They need to learn certain things and certain skills, okay? So good tips there from PJ. Second one here is to use communication tools wisely. A smooth remote team workflow starts with a solid internal communication plan. Choosing the right communication tool does matter. It does, definitely. I've used many different ones. I've used Skype for Teams. I've used also Slack for Teams and all those things, right? How you use them is equally important. Yes, very true. Expectations again. Are there messaging happening, during the day, during the evenings? What hours are you supposed to be available? All of those things are very important. Providing guidance on how to use your communication tools can save your team a lot of headaches. Very true. Very true. Here's all solid advice from PJ, by the way. So let me know if you guys agree with these advice. There's other ones that you want to add, but these are all really, really good. Now, he says here that tools like Slack are great for communication, but can be equally as distracting, right? So again, very true. Tools like Slack are great for communication, but can be equally as distracting. Set guidelines around the types of chats that belong in each channel to keep everyone on track. Yes, exactly. So there's usually like all the channels that you would expect, right? When it's Slack, marketing, product, all of those different channels. But then you want to have channels for like, just like water cooler talk or like random talk, TVs and movies. People want to talk about TVs and movie shows or Netflix shows that they should be watching. There should be outlets for that so that it doesn't clog up, the work, channels, marketing's channel and all those things. So setting up, guidelines and a format so that you set your team up for success is very important, especially when you're working remotely. This is the primary way that people are engaging each day, right, with their team members. So very, very important. Now, keeping cameras on for calls, I totally agree with that. This will help your team feel more connected, engaged, and lowers the risk of miscommunication. Such good advice. The things that you don't really think about, keeping the cameras on for calls is very, very important. Okay, the next thing here is set clear guidelines and expectations. Clear communication of what's expected is even more crucial. When you're not physically together, your team should know exactly what's expected of them and why it's important. That's actually very, very true. These are also good. Don't forget to share your company mission and celebrate those major milestones. Now, celebrating things, that's very important as well. There's things like, for example, there's a lot of if you're using Slack, there's little apps that you can use, to celebrate each other, to give each other like kudos, right? And recognize people publicly on Slack for doing something really good. And you can make this sort of an incentive for your team. The more sort of like kudos that you give away, props that you give away or receive, then maybe at the end of the week or the end of the month, then there's a bit of an award or there's, incentives for doing that. So here PJ continues to share at UScreen, we require specific working hours because we often collaborate across time zones. So that's something to think about when you're hiring, people in North America and Asia and the UK and Europe, South America, there's different, time zones. You need to think of that. What hour should people be online and available? Schedule weekly meetings to ensure there's always time dedicated to touch base and synchronize on tasks. Very good. Very good. Just that meeting weekly that that you're going to have an opportunity to connect with your team lead or your team is really important. Actually, psychologically and mentally, it's actually very helpful to know that there is that time set aside to touch base and connect. Just make sure you're aligned on goals and expectations. Setting meeting-free days that are interruption-free, focus time. This is so good. This is for us every Tuesday. Every Tuesday, there's no internal meetings. There's a couple hours in the morning where you can get some like really urgent meetings that need to be done that can't wait till Wednesday, the following day. But Tuesday are no meeting days. It's no meeting days. You just heads down, get work done. I'm able to film, content or script content, work with, different things like that, and not have to worry about meetings. And then create a sense of mission, share news. So again, being transparent is always really good, right? So very good, very good. Number 4, PJ goes on to say here, make time for team engagement. Taking time to touch base, get to know one another virtually is helpful for maintaining or creating your company culture. Yeah. Not being in person doesn't mean you can't have water cooler conversations. Far from it. In fact, these types of conversations allow us to forge relationships as well as share valuable ideas. Encourage your team to check in on one another. Better yet, set up a Slack channel for random gifts, links, or inspiration. Yeah, awesome. I love that. Use Slack Donut. Slack Donut is a Slack app that basically, PJ goes on here, it pairs you up with people that you don't normally chat with or have interactions with on Slack, and it pairs you up to connect, and then you would then go ahead and set up a donut. So that would be like a 15-minute or 30-minute Zoom call, and you would just connect, and you can make a theme out of it. You can get to know each other. You can have like, 20 questions or something like that, where you can get to know other people on your team that you're not working with. Maybe if you're in marketing, you might get paired up with somebody in product, and then you get to know what they're up to, who they are. But if you have those times, yes, try to understand what they do for work within the team, but also just get to know them. What's your favorite movie? Where did you grow up? All those things, and get to know them personally. Very important. So there you go. Now let's go to number 5 here and keep on going. PJ, these are really good. If you're watching this, awesome article. So he says, support professional development. Very good. Helping your team develop their skill sets is a win-win and can definitely be done remotely. Offer access to courses, programs, even the latest internet tools. Very good. So really empower your team. If your team is smarter, gets better, they develop their personal development skills, they can bring that into your company, into what they do on a daily basis. So very, very important. Schedule regular check-ins to see what their goals are, and look internally and externally to help meet them. Very good. Hopefully these tips, as PJ closes off here, prove useful for considering remote work as part of a viable organizational strategy. Like me, you'll learn a lot through listening to Facebook feedback, trial and error. And at the end of the day, flexibility and innovation wins. Learn what works for today, but be prepared to pivot for tomorrow. I love that. This is a great article. This is PJ. Again, make sure you connect with PJ on LinkedIn. He's fantastic. Find his website, uscreen.com. That is actually uscreen.tv. That's where his company can be found, and you can see what they're doing. Again, this is hopefully something that you guys are thinking, considering if you guys are either a leader in the company, maybe you are the CEO and founder, and you're thinking of how you navigate through this remote work first world now that we are in, or if you are a remote worker, in-house marketer, or developer, and you're trying to figure out also where you fit in and what should be expected of you. Hopefully this starts a conversation, but there's definitely a lot of conversation around it now, and hopefully you guys are finding your place and connecting with the people that are really taking on this newfound world that we're in of remote work and remote culture, this lifestyle of remote work. So I enjoyed that article. So PJ, thank you for sharing that. I really do look forward to other articles like that. Another leader that you guys should connect with is Gavin Hammar, who is the founder and CEO of Sendable. And he's got an amazing podcast. And, I saw that he was, he had his official last day at Sendable before he kind of let go of his baby and off to new things. But he does talk about remote work as a leader of a tech company that is working remotely. And so, yeah, great content that he puts out there. He's got a newsletter, so make sure you check that out. And yeah, hopefully you're enjoying this content, this video, and this channel here, where we're talking all about remote work, but also this podcast. And again, thank you to Ecamm for bringing this video over to all of you. And if you guys want to check out Ecamm, links down below in the description. Other than that, thanks for hanging out with me here and kind of going through PJ's article. And I will see you all in the next video. But before you leave, make sure you subscribe and say hello in the comments. All right? All the best, guys. God bless you, and I'll talk to you in the next video. Take care.